Hey everyone, it's been a long time since I've posted a video. Um, I found out they were actually not really helping me or anyone, and I just need to step away for a bit. But it's been a few years, and I thought I'm just going to do some random posts here and there through the day just to tell you how my experience with my brother's suicide has impacted my life, and just what I'm going through, how I'm feeling, and just general sort of stuff. I'd like to be able to, I've met a couple of suicide survivors in the last little while. I'd like to be able to interview them on here and hear other people's stories, because I think the more stories you hear from other people, you'll realize that you do belong to a community. You're not out there on your own. There are other people going through the same feelings, and I'm going to be completely honest with my feelings. They're not always popular. Sometimes they sound a little egotistical and stuff, but that's, what I'm going through at that time. So it's been 22 years since my brother died. If you don't know the backstory, he died in 2003, just after Christmas, and when my son was about 4 weeks old. So and he hung himself in my mother's basement, and we didn't find him for 10 days. Now, I have a bit of a problem with when people say, oh, well, nobody even knew he was there for 10 days. Nobody was looking for him. I was looking for him for every day of those 10 days. And my mother, who was a chronic alcoholic, I'm sure she knew what happened, but just couldn't face up to what the reality of it was. So much happened in the week that I gave birth to my son. My grandmother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and she was my mother's bank. She paid my mother's bills and gave her money for, everything. Paid for everything, and her accounts were frozen, and so my mom only had $1,000 a month to live on, which is nothing. And I had to apply to the public guardian's office to get control of my grandmother's medical and financial affairs, which took some time. But lately, what's going on lately? Right now, there's really nothing good going on. Since I last posted, I did have a suicide attempt. That was last February. I guess thankfully I checked out at the last second. It's not. I was hoping this year would be different, but this year's just started off as a complete shit show. I had an at-fault accident last year, and when looking for a new car, I made one of the worst car deals ever known to man, I think. And my monthly payments went up to $680, and because I had the at-fault accident, I'm now in facility, and my insurance is $700 a month. And I don't know if you can tell, but I'm actually in my car right now. I spent a lot of time here because I couldn't keep up with my rent payments and got evicted. So I am at a shelter right now, and I gotta tell you that this is kind of the one thing that perplexes me a bit. Is last February when I had my last attempt, my mood was just in the gutter for so long, and I'm sure some of you can relate. And it's emotionally and mentally draining, and you just don't really have anything to give to anyone. And when I get like that, I isolate, and I have a lot of people who are helping me and caring for me and looking after me and stuff, and they catch it when I start to isolate. They know that's not good, so I'm fortunate that way. But since I became homeless, I was living in the car for a week and a half before I got a place in the shelter. But when I was sitting in the car, I remember thinking one night, like, this is the worst that it's been in like 5 years. Like, just lost my house, I can't afford this car, and I don't know what I'm gonna do, and housing is so expensive, and I'm not gonna be able to live in the same town anymore. I'm gonna have to probably move out to the East Coast, or Northern Ontario somewhere that I can afford. And I came to the conclusion I'm gonna have to sell my car, and I'll sell it privately and take some money and just buy a little grocery getter for about $5,000, put the rest of the money on what I owe. But I am going to be paying probably close to $10,000 just in interest payments for the next couple of years, just for making a really bad deal. But yeah, my mental health isn't worth a luxury automobile. So but I was sitting there one night and I was thinking, like, why don't I feel suicidal right now? Like, right now my mental health is actually not bad considering everything that's going on. And if ever there was a time, like, I used to be a binge drinker, and thankfully for 6 years I've been sober, but the thought to drink has never entered my mind through all of this, and this is going into week 3 or 4 now. My mood is pretty, consistent. I'm sleeping better than I used to. I have a few health concerns, but that's got nothing to do with anything. But when I was at the house the last 2 or 3 weeks before I was moving, and it was just a bad time, unfortunately for me. Like, my two most biggest supporters, one was down in Florida for a couple of months, and my other girlfriend ended up with some really weird infections. She's still going through a lot, so I'm actually glad I have the car, because while she was in hospital, her boyfriend wrote her car off. But when I was trying to move out and I'm doing it all on my own, my mood was really, really down, and I isolated, and I didn't even respond to text messages or anything. But I still didn't have a suicidal thought. But I did go and visit my brother's grave quite a bit, because I just felt like I was absolutely losing everything. Sorry. Like, my kids don't talk to me anymore. I was talking to my dad, and I don't know, my daughter phoned and said something to him, and my dad and I are no longer talking anymore. And so I have like no family except for, my church family. And I would go and visit my brother's grave almost every other day, because it was the only place that kind of felt like home, And I think that even, 22 years later, like, I'm stuck on grief. I don't know if I'll ever stop grieving, but it's hard, because in the end it was supposed to be just him and I together. We were all we had growing up. And my mom's dead now. She drank herself to death after my brother died, and obviously my brother's dead. And my grandmother passed away peacefully, thank God. 2 years after my mom and my dad and I don't talk. So my whole core family that I grew up with is gone, and it really is a very lonely feeling. And I don't know how to accurately describe it, but it almost feels like I'm not even attached to anything anymore. And I'm so fortunate. I have two really good friends, Vanessa and Janice, and they're really watching out for me. And if you have anybody in your life that's doing that, please take full advantage of it. Those are the people that really do want the best for you and really will help you. Yeah, just, hold on to those people, because you just never know at all. I've struggled a lot in the last 22 years. I never ended up going back to work. So I've been off work on disability for anxiety and depression and some mood disorder or something, pretty much since my brother died. And I'm getting closer to retirement now than anything, so the odds of me ever working full-time again are not very likely. Not very likely at all. And then I have my kids who don't talk to me. I mean, and I don't want to say this all just stems from my brother's suicide, but it was the catalyst that started all of this. And for a lot of people it works out better, and hopefully you're one of those people it's working out better for. For me, I have a lot of guilt around it, and I find it really hard to get rid of that. And I think that's something that's sort of keeping me stuck. So that's something that I have to work on. And I keep up with my writings and my artwork and try and keep a positive mind as best I can. But at the same time, there's a bit of peace in my head, because I also know that, God forbid something did happen, I'm ready to go. I don't feel connected deeply to anybody anymore. So that's a real lonely feeling. But I don't know, we'll deal with it and get through. So anyways, so that's it for today. A little long, but I'll keep posting now and then, and just keep filling you in on my experience. And if you guys could hit like and subscribe and leave me a post about if you found this interesting or not, or if it's helpful, if there's other things you'd like to see. I do a lot of reading about suicide too, so every once in a while I just may put a short on here that's just about facts and stuff. But one thing, a positive message I do want to leave on today's note is, I heard a saying the other day, and it said, "Don't judge me by my successes. Judge me by how many times I've fallen and been able to get back up again." And that was said by Nelson Mandela. And I think that's kind of the motto of my life, because since the suicide, I get down, but I get up, but I get down, but I get up. And I remember my old pastor used to call me the phoenix, because I just seemed to keep rising from the ashes. But it's a very tiring way to live. So anyways, just keep that little saying in your mind, because we're all still here for a reason. Just don't know what it is. Anyways, thank you. I hope you found this comforting or insightful. I don't know. I hope you come back and watch more of the posts that I'm going to make. And thanks for stopping by. Hope you have a happy Easter.